Welcome to another Triathlon Podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon Podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Here we go. We're back with another episode of another Triathlon Podcast. So great to be back. We're going to have some fun this week talking about our own races for the first time. Sounds like Fede got into some racing. And then we'll go through our usual kind of recap of the racing this weekend with the pros. We'll have some questions from the audience and we'll have some fun with it. Unfortunately, Fede, we have chosen a heck of a time to jump into giving our opinions on triathlon with one major event this weekend at Ironman Hamburg, but we will get to that later. Have some fun first. How does that sound?
That sounds great to me. Yeah, let's jump into the fun part first, and then we'll discuss other stuff that unfortunately happened during the week.
Sounds good. But first up there is, I hear you were somewhere warm this weekend.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to race 70.3 Hawaii this past Saturday, which it was my first ever 70.3. So I always try to go back. I have great memories from that race, and I just love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always
fun the 70.3 it's a very good race. Yeah.
I've never done that one, actually. It's on the bucket list for sure. Little less suffering than the world champs there, half the distance. I think that sounds like a lot more fun.
Yeah, well, there's definitely suffering. Because the bike course, it's on the back half of the world champs course. So it's the tougher section of the bike. So you go up to Hawaii and come back. And which, it's up and down and humid and warm, but it's in a golf course, so that's awesome.
That's wicked. So tell us all about it. How did your race day go at Hawaii?
Yeah, so there were a bunch of us from Mauna. That was very, very good. So it was Ida, Matt, a couple others, myself, and started early. Race started at about 6:45, 6:30 ish. Swim was good. Yeah, that's very early. I mean, can't blame them, and I think it's a good idea with the heat, especially for people finishing a bit later on the day. I think it's good for them to start early and avoid a bit of the sun on the bike. So that's a very good idea. Anyways, on to the swim. I took it easy. There was a bit of a current on the swim, so we all swam a bit slow, which and yeah, it happens. But that was good. Saw a few turtles,
cool.
Heaps of fish. It's a beautiful swim. I mean, you can't really go wrong with swimming in Hawaii.
Yeah, and those murky lakes that some of the other races are in. I know a few where I haven't been able to see my hand in front of my face in the water, and that always freaks me out.
Oh yeah, and especially for me, that I'm not the strongest swimmer, I need clear water so that I can see where my hand is entering the water, and if I'm pulling right, if it's murky, I'm just all over the place. And I swim slower when it's murky than when it's crystal clear. So I'm lucky enough to be racing in Cozumel and Hawaii and these places where the water is crystal clear. So that's amazing.
That's the way to do it.
So swim was a swim. Got onto the bike. This was my first race on the new Hasso, which I loved. It's super stable, handles perfectly on the crosswinds. We got a windier day than we did in October for the World Champs.
Okay.
But the bike handled amazingly. and I was sticking to my numbers, maybe a tad low, like 10 watts from what I had planned with my coach. But I was going faster than what I did last year on that race. So I was over the moon with both with the bike and with the tri suit. I was wearing a prototype tri suit that we're launching with Mauna Apparel, and it was so comfy and so ventilated. I just loved it, and yeah.
Yeah, I
But
saw some pictures on the bike. It looks pretty sharp too.
yeah, it's an amazing looking tri suit. I even got a few questions now, like, "Hey, what's a tri suit? Where did you get it?" So it's always good when people validate what you do, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And between the faster bike split and lower power, definitely the bike and the aero suit are working, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, and I wasn't even wearing an aero helmet, so that's good.
And actually, before
Yeah,
I'd
I
ask
think
about
that's
that,
the
what was your decision? Why did you choose to go for a road helmet instead of an aero helmet?
it was a packing decision.
Ah,
I
fair enough.
yeah, the aero helmets are a bit chunky and odd shaped, so I figured, nah, I'm just taking the road helmet, stick it in the bag, and don't worry about it. I don't want to be carrying my aero helmet this time, so it was
There you
just a practical decision,
go. Well,
basically.
and with Hawaii too, that extra ventilation is never a bad thing because it does get pretty hot and humid out there.
Absolutely, and I was so cool during the day. I My helmet has some vents, and I just sprayed water in them, so it was very very good.
Awesome. Now, I heard there were some challenges on the bike course. I was following you along there, and all of a sudden the pace dropped off. What happened?
Yeah. I uh, I had an incident on kilometer 58. Let me see what's that in miles for our American listeners. That's at mile 36.
Mhm.
And it was after coming down from Hawaii before Kauai High. There's this rolling section,
Mhm.
and I got a flat tire on my
Oh
rear
no.
tire. Yeah. I just heard it pop,
Oh,
and I
that's the
was like,
worst.
"Oh, come on, not now."
That is the
Y-
worst feeling ever when you start to hear carbon rolling on the road. You're just like, oh, something has gone terribly wrong here.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, definitely a flat tire," and of course, I did not had a flat kit with me because my train of thought was, well, I never flat, so I'm not
Oh,
gonna carry one.
isn't that just the way it'll go? The one time you don't have it is the time you need it.
Yeah. So then I was like, of course it happened this time.
Mhm.
Uh,
So what did you do?
and
You don't have the stuff to fix it? What did you do out on the race course?
I didn't have the stuff to fix it. I was sort of like, well, what do I do now? I guess I'm gonna have to wait for bike support and wait for them to show up.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, I started waiting and waiting and waiting, and like half an hour went by,
oof.
40 minutes went by, and I started counting all of the athletes that were passing me, and
Oh
I
no.
stopped. I stopped at about 100, so I was like, I'm not even gonna bother count anymore. Uh, and then a guy stopped.
Yeah,
Brian,
shout out to
I
Brian.
think shout out to Brian. He stopped and he was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Well, I got a flat tire." He's like, "I'm sorry to hear that, man. Here's the tube. Here's the CO2. That's good luck. Hopefully I'll see you on the run. Don't give up." And that was just what I needed to hear. Uh, but I forgot to tell Brian that I didn't have the Allen key to unscrew my rear tire.
Oh
Uh,
no. No quick
yeah,
release.
so yeah, no quick release on disc brakes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I was still waiting. I had everything needed to change it, but not the Allen key. So then finally, bike support came like an hour and 15 uh, after I flatted.
Oh,
And
just begging in the
don't
sun.
Yeah, just getting a tan,
There you go.
and I'm not complaining. Like, it was my own fault not carrying a flat kit, and I was very grateful that they stopped. And I was like, "Thank you for stopping by. I've been here a while, but I'm glad that you're here now." So they changed my tire, well, my tube, because on this, because the bike's new, I didn't have any time to set it up tubeless, so I was running tubes. Um, and anyways, they changed it, and from that moment on, I was like, well, now it's all about finishing, right? Like, there's no point of digging myself a grave here. I'm just gonna cruise back to transition, and then just jog the half marathon and give high fives to people and enjoy the day. Because in reality, that's why I started this sport. It started as a fun thing to do, and I really believe if you are in a physical condition to finish the race and something bad happens to you, you should finish the race. Like, honor the race, honor your fellow athletes, unless like something bad is happening, like stomach issues or you're passing out, then there's no need to continue. But like, this was just like an ego ouch in terms of race performance. But other than that, it was perfect. Like, I got to transition, got my running shoes on. My dad was with me on the race, so I gave him a hug. I was like, I got a flat tire. Sorry it took me this long to get to transition.
Probably had him worried.
Yeah, he was worried, and Coach Gu was there as well. So he was, being Italian, he's a bit dramatic. He was like, "Where are you, brother?" So yeah. Also, yeah, very, very, very fortunate to have those people around me, and I just started, like I said, jogging the half marathon and enjoying it, and finished it happy, with a bittersweet feeling. But that's racing, and we're all, it's going to happen to most of us at some point. And I'm just glad I got the flat after the downhill, the descent from Hawaii, because that would have been very sketchy to get a flat like at 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, that would not have been fun. But I applaud your mindset on it. It's so hard when you put so much time and effort and training into these events and it doesn't go your way. And I've definitely seen it time and time again where athletes will just throw their toys in the air and just like, I'm not even going to finish it. I'm done. It's not going to be a PR. So what's the point? But like you said, it's just about the spirit of the sport and respecting your competitors, respecting the other athletes, and just, you're in Hawaii. Have some fun and just cruise around and get that finisher medal and celebrate afterwards that even if it wasn't the day you wanted, you still did a 70.3, which is a big accomplishment anyways, even though you didn't, quite get the result you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And, I was actually very happy with the Mauna athletes. They did an amazing job, and I think we're gonna have Ida later on to talk us through her day, because she got a Kona spot and Kona qualifier.
Absolutely crushing it. So Ida is another team member of ours on the Mauna team, and actually just saw her a few weeks ago. I also do some work with the Les Tap by Tour de France series. And she was at our event in Las Vegas, and she won the Queen of the Mountain there. So she is just tearing it up out there. I'd love to see it.
She is in the zone right now. So very happy for her. And I think Gu, who's Ida's partner, he was probably more excited than her. He had everything planned out. He had like some Hawaiian gift for her. It was amazing. So kudos on her. To her, and just very, very, very happy to see that. And it was overall a very good day. A bit windy, like I said, on the way up to Hawaii, but that's Hawaii. I mean, it would be weird if there was no wind. So
100%. I had pretty much the exact opposite kind of weekend from that.
Oh yeah? How was your weekend like?
It was really good. I went up to Kelowna, the Okanagan in British Columbia there,
because
my little sister was having an engagement party. So I spent the weekend not training, went to a winery, drank a lot of wine, ate a lot of really great food, and it was awesome. It was a good little break from the training there. And you know what? I definitely have found over the years, like when I was the first few years in triathlon, a weekend like that would have absolutely driven me insane, like having that downtime and choosing to go to a winery instead of getting a run in. But now I've kind of found a lot more balance. So you can go have those fun weekends, got one run in, rest of the time is just about family, having some fun. And now I'll put in some hard work, like a workout yesterday that just about killed me, but I survived. I've definitely learned to balance things out a little bit more because, we do the sport for fun and for a challenge, and I have definitely fallen into that completely obsessive about it, and my life is upside down if I'm getting a red box and trading peaks, but found a lot more balance now and really enjoyed that weekend away to just focus on some fun stuff and drink some good wine.
That's amazing. And oftentimes you need those experiences, outside of training, and you come back like with more energy to train, and it gives you perspective that it's not all about swim, bike, and run. That there's life sometimes around it as well.
Yeah, and I'm headed into actually my first race of the year this weekend, so I'm feeling even more fired up after a few down days. It's like, okay, the head is in line. Ooh. Now it's time to go hard.
Oh, that's great. What race is that?
Going and doing a duathlon here in town. So I love a duathlon. I'm like you, the swim is not my strongest.
Oh,
yeah. So
I don't know about that, Jenna.
Oh, they hurt so good. So good.
But I mean, I'm not proud of them, but yeah.
They're painful in a whole different way.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. There's just a bit of a banter going around with triathletes and duathletes. But no, they're good fun sometimes. And yeah, definitely. I don't tell my friends when I do a duathlon just because it's like kind of frowned upon. But yeah.
Anytime I don't have to swim, I'm happy. The fun part about duathlon is usually like when I race, I kind of survive the swim and then spend the whole time biking, running my butt off and passing people. It's so much more fun being near the front of the race and actually like racing it against people instead of just playing catch up the entire time. But biking after a hard first run is so painful. It just the burning legs, but
yeah.
It's a good challenge. I love them, and I don't have to get into the water, so that makes me even happier.
Well, that's a positive.
For how much I don't like open water swimming.
True. No, but I mean, duathlons are a bit harder on they're harder on the legs than a regular triathlon, just because you're running, then biking, then running, and you're constantly pounding the legs. So yeah, they're definitely. You need to be a very, very strong athlete in terms of muscular endurance type of athlete to withstand the pounding from running, cycling, and then running again. But I mean, it's not that I'm not the greatest swimmer. That's everybody knows that. But it's not like I don't like swimming. I always tell my friends that I'm like that guy who really likes to sing, but it's really not good at singing. That's me with swimming.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
So excited for you.
It just, this first half of the year for me, I've been doing a ton of travel and other stuff. And it's like, okay, a reminder, I need to focus in, get into some racing, remember what that discomfort feels like, and get fired up for the Kona training this year.
Awesome. Don't you feel, well, this happens to me. Even though I've been doing this for a while now, I need to, whenever a new race season comes up, I need to start to get into the rhythm of that uncomfortable feeling again. Because it's not like I forget it oftentimes how how awkward that feeling is, that uncomfortable feeling of pushing yourself. It often takes me a couple of races to get used to it and to really embrace it. Because oftentimes I started like, I just don't enjoy it at first, and then I'm like, okay, so this is what racing feels like, and then I can just start getting into a rhythm as the race season progresses.
Absolutely. And that's why I always suggest athletes have a few build-up races, because just like you need to do the physical training to get ready for your goal race, your A race, whatever you want to call it in there, that mental training comes not only from the workouts, but from those build-up races where you kind of get used to being in that discomfort again. You kind of learn how to relax into the pain a little bit. Because the first race of the year, I always find is quite a shock to the system, because you just, as hard as you've been working in the training, you haven't been doing racing hard.
Oh yeah, definitely agree.
Well,
That's a takeaway.
for sure. Speaking of the racing, we had some racing going on this weekend. How about we start off on the lighter side with some of the European champs on the WTCS side of things?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we have the European Triathlon Championships in Madrid, Spain. Yeah, if you want, we can discuss the men's race first, and then we can go over the women's.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, I was surprised. Well, not surprised. Like David Castro Fajardo is an amazing athlete, and he's been really on fire lately. And I was over the moon to see him take the win. He deserves it, and he's a good guy. I met him in New Zealand when I was there earlier this year, and he's just a cool guy. And he likes to train hard. He likes to race hard, and he just loves triathlon. So it was very good for him to take the win over Johnny Brownlee. So that was very, very interesting to see. And also, this course in Madrid is a very tough course, because oftentimes in these WTCS races, you don't see bike splits to go over an hour. And they went 101, 102s on the bike, and like 31 minutes for the 10K. So it was an honest and tough course for them.
Definitely.
So yeah. Also, like, very, very surprised to see Mario Mola back in 20th place, and he didn't have an amazing run. He ran like 37 minutes.
Honestly, he just hasn't been factoring the last little while here. He hasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's had an injury or a slow start to the season there, but he just really hasn't been in the running this year.
Yeah, and with like from a runner of his pedigree to see him run, 37 is very respectable for anyone out there, but for him, that's like jogging. So yeah.
Well, and it was so good to see Johnny Brownlee to have a good day out there. He had not his best race, he would say, in Cagliari the other weekend. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see him kind of making his way back towards the front again. And I believe this race counts for points and Olympic selections, just kind of starting to make their bids for 2024. So it's good to see he's back in the mix, because it's always fun when Johnny's up at the front there.
Oh yeah, it always makes the race excited. And remember, I told you last week about Jonas Schoenberg. He finished 8th. So keep an eye on this guy. One day he's not going to blow up.
Yeah. You know what? He made it kilometer 1, kilometer 2. At some point, he's going to hold on and get that one. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And it's fun to see tougher courses too, because a lot of the WTCS races they have to do them in city centers, or they do them around city centers. So they're not the most exciting bike courses. Cagliari used to be a lot more interesting, but this time it was super flat. You can't have those breakaways on the bike if everyone's just spinning around. So it's fun when it's a little bit more challenging course. It mixes it up a lot more.
Oh, I totally agree. Couldn't agree more. I think the way to go for WTCS to keep growing as a sport, they need to make courses more attractive and more, honest and tougher, instead of these like rat circuits where they just go round and round and round and nothing really happens until the run.
Absolutely. Well, so the Super League races, they have them super compact courses, but they have some kind of feature in there. There's a big hill, there's some crazy turns. Like, you need something to break it up and make it interesting, so you're not just going round and round. So it's not just a swim run.
Exactly. I know, I totally agree. And it's also more challenging for the athletes, because then dynamics play a bigger role. Like, oftentimes when a circuit is not as challenging. They know they have to be in front with the front pack, hit the swim, just hang on the bike. Nothing's really going to happen. And just because these circuits are not meant for like Uber cyclists, they can't really showcase how strong of cyclists they are. So if they do a more challenging course, we can see more athletes getting the spotlight depending on the course, and then see who runs the best after a hard bike, rather than just hanging on and burning as few matches as you can until you can just send it on the run. I think that's my opinion, and it'll be more interesting for the audience as well to see more dynamics happening on this type of racing.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, let's jump into, what did the women's race look like?
Oh, the women's was also very interesting. We saw a girl from Luxembourg take the win. Awesome. And Jenna-Caer, I'm probably butchering the name, so I'm sorry. We saw Lisa Terch, do you know the backstory about Lisa Terch?
I don't know.
So she's a German athlete, and she's a very, very smart person. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that she went to Harvard, took a break, went to Harvard, and then came back to triathlon. Just amazing. And the first Spaniard was Miriam Casillas Garcia, which is also very good to see her back fighting. She finished 5th, and it was just a very interesting race to see. And the Brits had a tough day in Madrid. We often see the Brits up there, and the first Brit was Kate Wall, which she finished 8th, which is also very decent. But for British standards, that's a bit.
Yeah, racing, they didn't have too many of the top names in their racing that you expect to see kind of the top dominating. I'm guessing that they're more kind of focused on that Olympic selection and those slots coming up.
Absolutely. Everybody's just fighting for points at this point.
It's coming up fast. Geez, with the Olympics being delayed a year, it feels like we're just turning around and it's back again in no time.
Oh yeah, it's around the corner, and it's going to get even more interesting now with the test event in Paris. Yeah.
Wicked. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's go on to the race that everyone has heard so much about over the last few days, unfortunately for a tragic reason there. But how about we get started with the results, and then we can kind of go into what happened. Let's start with those results there. It was a men's race here. How did the race go? It was supposed to be a big showdown between Omley and Jan Frodeno and Matt Newman. Actually, that didn't quite happen.
Nope, it didn't. Maxi pulled out of the race. So we didn't have that. Also, Alistair Brownlee pulled out of the race. So we didn't have that showdown we were expecting with, Ali, Maxi, and Jan. But it was still like a very, very fast race. Like you see these pros going, 7:26 for the win, and then 7:30, and then from second place to 4th, they all went 7:31. It was just seconds from one another. So that just tells you the level of competition that Ironman racing is demanding now. Like it's not just as we were used to in the past. Like they were just minutes apart. They're now seconds apart in a 226 kilometer race. So that's just amazing to see. They were on it all day long.
Now we're going into the 7:30s.
Yeah, sub 8 used to be a big deal, and now everybody's just, if you're not sub 7:40, why even bother showing up?
Yeah. So what did the results look like on there for the men's side?
So we had a French, Denis Chevrot, take the win. He's a very good athlete. He's
been solid. He's getting more and more, getting better and better results as he goes. There's been unfortunately, after the most recent kind of doping scandal in our sport, anytime there's a result that people don't expect now, they start to say, oh, that looks suspicious in there, but he's definitely been solved over the last few years, getting stronger and stronger. So it's not something that's shocking. At least, I don't know anything, but I don't think a crazy result for him.
No, like you said, he's been consistent throughout the years, and he's been chipping away, and you can see his progression. Like, he was finishing top 10s, top 5s, podiums, and it wasn't a situation from night and day. This guy has been working his butt off, I believe, to get the win, and everything went his way. Like, he had an amazing run, 2:31:39. That's a 3:42 pace.
Yeah, jeez. And yeah, I was looking at some of the files afterwards. Like, the course was only about 700 meters short, so like it's pretty close to legit.
Yeah. So these guys are moving, and we had in second place Himmerik from Belgium. He's also a very solid and consistent athlete. He's always up there in the mix. In third place, we had a Dane. We had Christian Hugenhaug, finishing in 7:31:12. In fourth place, we had Papa Jan, finishing 7:31:39. He had a 2:38:19 marathon, which is very, very good. Going anytime that these guys go sub 2:40 is amazing. And on fifth place, we had Jesper Svensson, the Uber swimmer and biker. He finished fifth, running up the podium. So it's good to see him up there. He always swims up the front and puts the pressure on the bike, and usually hangs on the run. But he had a very good run, 2:40, 2:30. So very good on him.
That's awesome. Yeah, and with Jan, I know a lot of people are kind of going in, if it's just him as the big name, obviously he'll win it. But he is still coming back from a lot of time without really racing. Like, he's just starting to get back into it again. And like we were talking about, sometimes it takes a little while to find your racing feet. And unfortunately, it looks like he got passed just in the last little bit by went from second to fourth, which is not what you want on race day.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know how much you can take from this. It's kind of, he's on the comeback.
Interesting to see him back, and
yeah,
absolutely, he's back.
He's coming. It'll be so interesting to see what he does kind of in the world champs once he hits that peak. Because 42, he's up there. His last time in Kona was a win, and he's got a lot of weight of expectations on his shoulders. But man, he's the GOAT. So people are writing him off after this result, but I think he's still just coming back into it.
100%. And to be fair, like, he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody at this point in time. Like, he is probably arguably the greatest triathlete that's ever done it. Like, coming from the ITU and then doing middle distance and then long distance the way he has, like, hats off. And yeah, the fact that he's 42 and still mixing it up with the boys, it's just amazing. So yeah, and he's a pretty smart guy. Like, he surrounds himself with a very good team. So I think he's not at, top shape as what he's going to be for the world champs. Like, he probably has a few bullets, left to spare for that race, and we'll see how the rest of the year pans out. But I'm sure we're going to see a completely different Jan Frodeno and when Nice comes.
100%. So we're on to the part that, like I said, everyone has been talking about in the triathlon world this last little while, and unfortunately it is a very sad topic. But Ironman Hamburg had an incident out on course where a motorcycle with a cameraman on the back unfortunately went into the other lane and crashed head-on into a cyclist. Now, the sad result of that was that the motorcycle driver did pass away, and both the cameraman and the cyclist was injured. And this has really brought up a lot of questions to Ironman about athlete safety out on the course. It was, I don't know if you were watching the race go down, Fede, but it was pretty horrific to see it happen. I don't know if you saw the actual coverage.
Yeah, I was, well, first of all, thoughts and prayers go to to the family of the person who lost his life. You know, this type of stuff shouldn't be happening in sport, and it's always very sad to see that how fragile life is and how something that is totally preventable just ended up costing the life of a human. So yeah, thoughts and prayers go to the family. And yeah, I was watching the race. I was still in Hawaii, and I was battling trying to stay up and watch it, but I switched it off and I didn't see live when it happened. But as soon as I woke up, I saw the news and everybody talking about it, and I just got like my stomach felt weird, like I was punched in the stomach. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting feeling, that one that I got when I realized what had happened. And yeah, just I was, first of all, I was like, why, how? And just I couldn't believe it really when it happened. I couldn't really wrap my head around that somebody had lost his life during a triathlon race. Yeah, I don't know, where were you, or what were your thoughts about it?
Well, the word you used is probably the most frustrating part, is that it was so preventable. Like, no one watching that race coverage, if you didn't see it, there was a line of about 9 athletes in the front group there. And they had about 13 motorcycles lined up next to each other. There were more motorcycles than there were athletes. And anyone who was watching it could see that that was not safe. And this was so preventable, is, like I said, the worst part about it. So you see this line of athletes and you see the line of motorcycles beside them, but going the other way is age group athletes on the other side of the road. And this is a small road. We're talking, like, in the US, it'd probably be a single lane road going down. And I can't wrap my head around how they thought this would work, period, because when we saw the coverage, it was just a couple of athletes going by, probably the front of the age groups going by. But at some point, unfortunately, Ironmans, they jam people onto the courses, and there would be draft packs and lots of athletes going by at some point. I don't understand how they thought logistically that would work, or in any sense was safe. Not to mention, there's the effect of it affecting the race. Like, they had some crazy fast bike times because, of course they did. They had a whole line of motorcycles shielding them from any crosswinds and giving them some aerodynamic benefit, which is crap on its own. But it just was such, you could not look at that and think, oh, that looks safe. Just from an outsider's perspective, it looked shocking to watch, even without the incident happening.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think our responsibility as triathletes, and we love this sport, is to speak out, to say something, because this stuff shouldn't be happening. It's not gossiping. It's not, wanting to talk about what happened. It's about trying to make the sport safe and wanting the best for everyone. And I think Ironman really needs to do something about it, because you'd be surprised how often accidents happened in roads, on races, and unfortunately this time it cost a life. But sometimes or often somebody breaks a leg or breaks an arm because of a reckless driver, or because roads are partially closed. I think we need to start discussing now that races should be completely closed to traffic, and limit the amount of motorized vehicles, just so that it's safe for them and for the athletes. Ironman charges us a fortune to enter races, and they claim that the races are safe, but they're not. Like, we have the evidence, and it's sad to see that this happened, but like, Ironman really needs to take action into making a step forward into making athletes and people around the sport safe, because it's a two-way street. It's about the athletes, and it's about people volunteering or covering the race in some sort, and being also respectable for the local traffic. So they just need to find a way to make the race safe for athletes and for everyone around it. Like I said, it's very, very frustrating to see that this was a very preventable accident. And one thing I wanted to say is that I was very happy to see Felix, the chairman for Challenge Roth, taking action into it, talking to the German Federation, seeing how he can provide a safer race for athletes and for people around the sport in Roth. So this goes to show that it's possible, at least have the initiative to make a change, because oftentimes Ironman, it's like talking to a brick wall. They don't understand, they don't answer questions. They come up with a super sketchy and lame argument or apology. I don't even know if they can call that an apology.
Or
like,
just
come
walk
on.
out of the room when they get asked hard questions. Like, it's just, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. And I will applaud everything they do good, but at the same time, I'm going to criticize and point fingers and complain when something's not right, and when the integrity of an athlete or another person is put in jeopardy because they're being irresponsible and not thinking through stuff like this. So yeah.
And even before this happened, Challenge Roth had said they're going to eliminate motos from the course outside of what's absolutely necessary, because they do see it as a safety concern. And unfortunately, Ironman didn't take the same stance on that. But it's so frustrating, because you see, like, there's incidents like this that really bring it to light. But we've also seen on so many courses where there are big draft paths of athletes because there's not physically enough space on the road for that many athletes to be riding legally or without drafting. It's so frustrating to see they go for the dollar over the athlete safety and the athlete experience, cram as many athletes as they can on that course. And that causes crashes. That makes it unsafe. That makes the race results a joke, because they're not actually doing what the race stands for, which is an individual challenge. So I think it's been a problem for a long time, but I think this is a stark reminder that Ironman is such a big influence in the sport, needs to really take into consideration the athlete experience, the athlete safety. They're getting a ton of money from us, and it's not just about going back to the investors. It's about providing what they've promised. And a safe course is one of those promises that they are not delivering on.
Totally agree. And don't get me wrong, I do understand the business side, and that they treat themselves as completely and solely a business. Like, it's very palpable to see that we as athletes come second for them.
And then the pro athletes come like 10th. Exactly. And you can see that with prize money and how ridiculous the winning prizes are for events such as like Kona. It's a world championship. You should be giving more to the guy who wins. But anyways, that's a topic for a different time. All I'm trying to say, and the point I'm trying to get across, is that it's very clear now that they care very little for the athletes. And as long, this is going to sound very hard, but as long as we keep coming back to them, I'm pretty sure they're not going to change anything. They're just going to wash their hands, say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and move on. I believe the change needs to come from us as a community of triathletes, and to start, demanding what's right. Not even demanding something crazy. We just want races to be safe. That's all. Yeah, deliver what you promise in there, and it's just a horrific event all around. I know it's not the first time someone has lost their life in an Ironman, but like I said, that it was so preventable is the really angering part about it. But yeah, hopefully this will be taken to heart. I saw that Andrew Messick did an interview with the Slow Twitch crew. Didn't have a chance to listen. I knew it would get me fired up, so I'm fully expecting not to get the answers or resolution or anything more than their press release soundbite. Like that that the announcers didn't mention anything about it, didn't really give any updates. They just kind of whitewashed it all and didn't say anything was really frustrating. They just kept talking about how great the race was. And that's inappropriate when someone has just lost their life.
Yeah. They were deleting the comments on the live stream.
That. Oh God. Yeah.
Which,
Yeah. Anyway, it's so sad to see. And like you said, our hearts go out to the families, those involved, and those who witnessed it. It had to be traumatic as well. Hopefully this is the catalyst for some kind of change, because this is absolutely unacceptable.
Oh, I really hope so. I really hope this is a catalyst for change. And I really want to eat my words, and I want Ironman to actually do something this time. Yeah, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. They actually did something good from this tragedy. But looking back at history and what they've done throughout the years, just can't see them change their business plan or model to make race safer. But we'll see. Hopefully this will change everything.
Well, as tough as it is to transition from that, let's go to something completely different.
Yeah.
So I figure next we'll jump into some questions from the audience, and then I've got a question that I want to get people's thoughts on what they would do. So we will start with some questions from the audience. The first one there came from Jack. He said, what is the best way to tackle and race on a hilly course? Did you have any thoughts there, Fede, on how to best approach, say, an Ironman where you're going to have to be dealing with a lot of hills?
Tackle a race with a hilly course. See, now this is the problem with us triathletes. We think anything more than 3% is a massive climb.
It's a mountain climb.
Yeah. Oh, this is like Alpe d'Huez.
Totally.
No,
exactly the same.
No. But I would say, look at the course, see the profile, look at the percentages of inclination, and then trying to do some work around that. Like, look at your gearing, see if your chainring is too big or you have the right gears for climbing, and do longer efforts. Trying to simulate the course as much as you can, even if you train indoors. Like, do intervals around the time frame that'll take you to get through a climb with low cadence. These type of things will prepare you for the climbs. And as well, you need to be a confident bike handler when it comes to descending. You need to be able to say aero, and of course staying safe. You don't want to be aero if you're not confident in taking corners and stuff like this. Just being mindful of what the course looks like, so you can sort of simulate the conditions. Yeah, and even if you don't live in a hilly area, if you're in Florida, just do intervals on the trainer with low cadence and on the hoods of your bike, and that's what I can say. What about you, Jenna?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love a hilly course. Given the choice, I will always go for hills. It's just so much fun to descend down them. Is probably what I enjoy the most. But I like how it really makes it more challenging. It breaks it up so people can't draft, and it's really such a one-on-one challenge there. Now, my background before triathlon was, like I said, super sport motorcycle racing, and so I really like to go fast, and that's why I love the hills. But it also taught me a lot about how to corner and how to descend on hills too. Once you kind of deal with them at high speed on a bicycle, it feels a lot easier. And I know cornering and descending is something that makes a lot of athletes nervous at high speeds because, let's be honest, a lot of us spend a lot of time indoors on Zwift and don't spend as much time as we should practicing some of those descending skills. Some tips I have for the hilly course is actually more around how to maximize your speed on it. So when it comes to doing a hilly course, my number one tip is don't ride like a cyclist. Do not. Cyclists, what they do in bike races is they will attack up every hill because, you can draft in a bike race and that's an opportunity to get away, right? So you'll see cyclists, if they're doing a group ride, everyone is just going to go max effort up the hill and then coast down easy. When it comes to long distance triathlon, you want to flatten out that course as much as you can. So if you have a power meter, this makes it a lot easier. But you want to keep an even effort as much as you can going up that hill, go up fairly easy, go into your smallest gear, spin up it as much as you can. Now, if it's a very hilly course, there's going to be points where obviously you're going to have to go into zone 3 or zone 4 or all over. So keep going if that's the case. But you want to try to make it easy. And the biggest place where you can kind of pick up speed on a hilly course is once you get up to almost the top, a lot of athletes will just be like back up there, like, whew, I made it to the top of the hill. Okay, now I can just kind of spin down easy. If you keep going over the top of that hill, keep your effort, again, a steady effort over the crest of the hill, and then pedaling as much as you can down the hill and just trying to maintain that steady effort, you're going to gain so much more speed and momentum instead of kind of making it almost to the top, losing all that momentum, and then just coasting down the other side. So that's one tip if you're really trying to have your fastest bike split over a hilly course there. Just make sure you're trying to keep that effort as even as possible and don't go hard uphill. You'll just be burning matches and that'll come back to bite you on the run later. And then when it comes to going down the hills, really, like I said, just keep pedaling as far down as you can, get into your big ring, keep that momentum going. When you can't pedal anymore, shift back a little bit in your seat and just try to relax into it. Go down arrow. If you are very inexperienced on hills, I would say go on your bars to make sure you feel a little bit more safe, have access to the brakes. But if you have spent a lot of time kind of practicing and you're comfortable, stay down in that arrow position as much as you can because that is just free speed. And who doesn't like a little bit of free speed on the race course?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are great pointers. Yeah. Make sure you ride the course and not riding against the course. You're riding with it.
Exactly. So we'll go on to our next one. So this is actually from the Mauna team. What is the shortest time to train for an Ironman? So I think what they're asking is just kind of how long we recommend someone actually trains for an Ironman to be prepared for race day. What do you think of that?
Well, I have so many questions for that question now.
We need to, well, first of all, we would have to assess what sort of fitness the athlete has. But let's, for the sake of the argument, let's say it's an athlete who does 1 or 2 70.3s a year and has been around the sport for, let's say, a year and a half to 2 years, just so that we all have a picture. For that athlete, I would say we need at least 8 months to prepare for an Ironman of completely devoted time and effort towards one Ironman event. I think 8 months would be the minimum for that type of athlete. What do you think, Jenna?
Yeah, definitely. I think where a lot of athletes go wrong is they decide they want to do an Ironman and then they don't give themselves the time to really go through a periodized plan. So if you're kind of training properly, your training will look very different 8 months out compared to close to race day. So if you do have that I usually like to work with an athlete 8 to 12 months to really go through a base and strength period, off-season type work, and then go into some of that aerobic foundation. We can go into some VO2 short, sharp stuff to work on that neuromuscular efficiency and get more and more race specific as we go. But yeah, I think 8 months would definitely be kind of a barrier to how long you want to at least have to really dial in that training. Because that also gives you the time to practice things like pacing, nutrition. Nutrition is so key. We want to make sure we have time to dial that in. But you really want to build a strong aerobic foundation because at the end of the day, an Ironman is just a long aerobic day. So you need to get to the point where the distance doesn't scare you. It just becomes about how fast you can do it.
Absolutely. It comes out, well, you need to train so that the distance, it's not a limiting factor. And what I often say to athletes is like, it's not that you disrespect the distance. You still respect the distance you're covering, but it shouldn't be something that is questionable or debatable if you can finish it or not. It should be about how good you can feel after crossing the finish line, or how efficient you can be throughout the day. Oftentimes I see people just struggling, just completing the entire Ironman distance, which that's a problem. You should be on the start line. Yeah, it's not fun. On the start line, you should be confident you're going to be able to finish the distance, that you're capable of doing it. And you should be only like concerned, or well, not concerned, just aware of where your power number should be, how aware you are going to be in the swim, concerned about your running form and technique. So that way the distance will take care of itself, and you just take care of the details. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that. That is so true. So for this last little bit here, I figured I'd leave this to the end because it's a little triathlon focused, little not, but I had the most random email the other day, and I wanted to get your thoughts on what you would do here.
Okay.
I do, outside of like triathlon coaching stuff, I do some acting in commercials and things like that. And I got an email from a casting director who saw kind of my racing experience and stuff, and reached out to see if I would want to audition for a kind of obstacle racing. Kind of what they do is they take you to different locations in Canada to do different physical challenges in teams, and you kind of race or like compete against other teams on this reality TV show. Because they'd seen me.
Oh my God!
And then look at my social media inside you, Ironman. They're like, we think you'd be the perfect person, so you should apply to this, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I love nothing more than a challenge. So the whole reason I do like the motorcycle racing, the Ironman and stuff, is just getting out of that comfort zone and doing something that kind of scares you, that challenges you physically and mentally. So it definitely sounded interesting, but here's the rub. It would film in September and October, which would mean I would miss.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's a total long shot that I'd even get into it kind of thing. But I wanted to hear thoughts from the audience. Would you, given the choice, go do a new challenge that you have no idea what's ahead, whether it's something like this reality TV show or something that you're completely unprepared for, or go do the Ironman World Championships? Because I probably won't have to make the decision, but I might. And I wanted to see what people think in there.
Wow, I mean, that's
so
just
random.
It's so random, but even more wild and crazy is that last week I also got an invitation for a reality TV show, like it's like adventure racing type of thing.
Way.
Yes.
That is so funny.
I'll show you. I'll send you the text. But this one's supposed to be filming in July, and they said it's max 6 months of shooting. But
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh no, thank you. No, I don't know. Yeah, no. I mean, I was like, if you can provide me a treadmill, my bike trainer, a pool. But no, you're out in the wild. So I was like, thank you, but no, thank
crazy.
you.
Is it one of those like survival challenge kinds of things?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I die without air conditioning. So no, thank you.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But
it's a little more challenges, like obstacle course challenges around Canada. So I'm sure I have a hotel room and air conditioning, which helps.
Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, it's up to you. What do you want to get out of? You need to ask yourself, what do you want to get out of each challenge? If it's, what do you want to get from that, and what do you want to get out of Kona? So I guess the decision, it'll be all yours at the end.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. If I hadn't done Kona before, there'd be zero question beat Kona, 100% Kona. Now that I've done Kona, and it's kind of, I know I can qualify for Kona, this is something so different. And that's what got me into triathlon, was just the mental and physical challenge of it all. This could be something fun, entirely different to change it up. But yeah, missing Kona is a tough one. It's still the pinnacle of there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Might not have to make the decision at all, but I wanted to hear from the audience. Let us know, what would you do if you had the choice between a new adventure challenge, do some travel, see some cool places, and Kona, the World Championships?
Yeah, let us know. What should Coach Jenna do? Go survive in the Canadian wilderness, or go survive in the middle of the Pacific on the second weekend of October?
Slightly different climates, so we'll say that. October could be I could be either dealing with snow outside or the Hawaiian sun. When I put it that way, it kind of sounds a lot more attractive.
Yeah, totally agree.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it for us this week. It was so much fun to chat with you again. I know we had some hard topics in there, but it's always fun to chat racing and race experiences with you. Congratulations again on finishing Hawaii 70.3, even though it didn't go your way, you stayed tough. And what's your next race coming up here?
Well, thank you. Thank you for chatting with me this week again. And we'll see. Still debating which race to do next. Looking into mid to late July. So we'll see, where do I go.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go gear up and give racing a try this weekend and go from there.
Awesome. Have a great race, and can't wait to hear how it went for you. And thank you for listening, everyone.
Absolutely. And go give us a follow. We're on social media now at Another Triathlon Podcast on Instagram. And from there, you can find mine and Fede's social media links as well. We want more questions from you guys so that we can answer your burning triathlon training and racing questions. And send us in any fun topics you want us to chat about, and we'll be happy to. We're going to have some guests coming on over the next few episodes. And like I said, just have some fun with this.
Absolutely. Keep listening and send us your questions, and we're going to be happy to answer them all.